Yesterday we have seen this topic totally based on some line and slope. We had some different illustrations. We also consider, depending on the line slope, in which direction we have to move ahead in unit increment. Means in which direction, whether x-axis or whether y-axis, we have to increment by 1, that is unit. So also digital differential analyzer, we have seen some cases, 3 cases majorly, okay, when we have m less than 1, greater than 1, and when, okay, and what is the exactly 1. Now moving ahead in today's topic of discussion, we have 3 things, mainly digital differential analyzer pseudocode, then we can say general form of it, and then depending on that we need to solve some problems. In exam, nobody going to ask you what is write a algorithm. Okay, instead they will tell you about what is a digital differential analyzer and solve the problems based on that. Okay, solve the problem based on that. So we need to solve these problems and plot that points onto the graph paper, or maybe you can draw the lines like graph papers, that kind of stuff. So moving ahead, our digital differential analyzer, let's start our session. In pseudocode form, pseudocode means what? It is not exactly as it is the coding, but it is a plain English plus English language plus some help of English statement plus some help of language or see any coding language formats, combination of these two. Okay, it is not a completely English statement also, and it is not a complete coding language also. A combination of that, we can say pseudocode. Okay, and most probably it inclined towards a plain English statements. So that is the form that pseudocode says that at least somebody. Pseudocode is that form if non-technical person or any person not belonging to computer field can understand that statement. For example, let's say we can say add one part into another part. This is a very plain English statement. Or we can say add A to B, right? This is also a very plain English statement, add A to B, right? So that kind of stuff is called a pseudocode. So any generalized statement is formed by pseudocode. Okay. Now let's say let me start with the DD algorithm in pseudocode form, and you also write it down. I have taken these grid views, okay, for our illustration. जब भी आपको graph plot करना है तो मैं यही boxes use करूँगा. Now let's say DDA, which has axis, okay, or X start, Y start, okay, X start, Y start, X start, Y start point, X end, Y end point. 2 points are required, which is of type integer, So here some variables need to be used. Okay, just kind of say dx, dy, and one of the says that steps. okay, which is of type integer, which is of type integer form, right? And let's say we need some kind of x increment inc, again y inc, in y increment we require x variable, we require y variable, okay, of type, let's say of type real, of type real, or we can say float, okay. Float means contains some kind of a point value, for example 5.2, 10.9 example, okay. Float which contain decimal points, okay, these values, okay, likewise. So these are the example of float values. Now let's begin with our uh, algorithm. Our algorithm start with the begin words. You start with begin, and let's say we found out that the dx value, which is equal to x of end minus x of start. Difference, okay, difference in that value. So here we are not giving any semicolon here, because this is not a this is not a this is not a C language, okay. So we are not, अगर आपने missing out भी किया तो कोई problem नहीं है, okay. So we want to say that you find it out difference in x. Next, also find it out difference in y, which is y end minus y start, okay, like this. Now it's time to find it out, whatever the difference is greater, which difference is greater, okay. So before the line you should write it down. What if, let's say if dx greater than dy, then what should be happen, okay. So dx, so actually ds maybe comes sometime ds may be a positive value or some kind of negative value. इसका वैल्यू ये आता है, but we required modulus value, okay. We require modulus. What is modulus? Though you will have negative value, so negative value तो इसका mod भी only magnitude आता है, magnitude. For example, let's say -7 mod. So we will get 7 as a magnitude. Okay, we have to consider the magnitude only, not a sign. Okay, this is the sign of the uh, value. Now here some mathematics, basic of mathematics is required. So here suppose I want to write it down a plus b and or a minus of minus b. Suppose I want to write it down, okay, or a plus minus b. So will you able to differentiate between these operations when certain things are happen? So this will tell you about the operation, right? This will tell you about the operation, okay, operation to be done on a and b. A and b are two operands, right? A and b and operands, and plus sign over here will tell us operation, right? In the same way, this is operation to be done, negative operation, positive operation, add operation on negative value. Okay, now this is the value sign. value, negative b value. Okay, negative value. So this sign is associated with this value. This is positive value. Okay, so try to differentiate uh, between these things. Okay, try to differentiate between these things. Let it be as it is. कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. And I will mark as okay. I will mark as this part as a rough part. Okay. Rough part. Okay, so this is the rough part. Fine, right? So this is just for a discussion purpose. Let it be there. So here we require a magnitude of x. If magnitude of x is greater, तो इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? ओके, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया कि we will getting a greater difference. We will getting a greater difference in a greater difference here to here. We are getting greater difference here, difference between end point to end point in x direction. So definitely that line is inclined towards, that is more inclined. Okay, right? That is more inclined toward x-axis. And what will happen if line is exactly 45 degree? Okay, 45 degree. So x and y की value same आएगी. So definitely this will be equal. dx is equal to dy, right? For 45 degree line. So that is the illustration when dx is greater. तो अल्टीमेटली आपके दिमाग में एक लाइट या आपके दिमाग में डेफिनेटली ये आया होगा कि हमको means this that line is more inclined toward x-axis. In the previous session we told that unit increment किसमें करना है? x direction में करना है, right? So unit increment should be, so what so that is treated as a step. Okay, that is treated as a step. हमारा step value कौन सा है? हमारा step value है small case में. हाँ, that is step value we have taken. So step means increment. Okay, the step value. Let me step equal to some kind of that. Okay, dx difference in x. So that will be added afterwards. Okay, step value or else step value will be dy. Okay, step value will be dy. So for time being we are considering this one as an algorithm, and let's write it down here. And if statement. Okay, this is a very simple algorithm need to be discussed. Then we need to calculate x increment dx upon step to be followed. Okay, and y increment dy upon steps. जो steps यहाँ पे आया हुआ है that will be divided, and after that x should be starting from xs and y should be starting from y start. Okay, y start. So I will be making a statement terminator here. So these are the two statement terminator, as you know. So I can write like this way also, as with the help of C coding style. So it will be no harmful to me as a pseudocode. So just want to tell you that these are the two different statements. Okay, so let's initialize our x and y to the start point. Then it's time to now setting the pixel. Set pixel. Okay, set pixel. Now set pixel is this is not a function of OpenGL. Okay, this function is not from OpenGL. This is the function with the work with the different turbo C or some kind of turbo C जो previous इसमें होता था. Okay, so what mean to say that you enable that pixel. Set pixel means enable that pixel, but what happen enabling that pixel x comma, I will write it down here, something okay, set pixel or enable that pixel onto the screen, but not only enable, you just round it off. Okay, use some kind of a round function, round it off, round function use करना है आपको. Okay, so round it off and then you plot. So you may got a fractional part maybe okay, while dividing here we may get fractional value. Okay, definitely 101%. While dividing something, we will get the fractional value. To avoid the fractional value, we need to round it off to the ceiling upper bound or lower bound. Okay, now you know that what is mean by rounding off. For example, 4.5 and 4.4. What will be the round off value of these two? So 4.5 will be rounded off to 5 upper. Okay, this is called upper, or we can say ceiling. Okay, we can say ceiling. Seal हमेशा ऊपर होता है. Okay, bottom नीचे होता है, right? So that likewise we can say that it is a value of ceiling value. Okay, let me find out whether I'm correct or not. Seal. Okay, ceiling value. Yes, seal value. Upper भी कहते हैं इसे या ceiling भी कहते हैं. And consider 4.4. If you round it off, it will get 4. Okay, and this is called a bottom. How this value came? This value came by using rounding off. Okay, by using rounding off. Okay, rounding off. So ceiling and upper. So this will done by this round function. And why we needed to round this? Because in graphics, in raster graphics, we do not have. Suppose if you are plotting the pixel from 0 to something 5 here, and in 5 in direction 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 4 5 likewise. So we always use 1 2 3 integer values in x direction. Okay, in integer values in y direction. Okay, 1 2 3. We do not have 1.1. We do not have any fractional part. Okay, this is not done. This is not available. 3.5 or something 3.3. We do not have this. Okay, so we always used to plot the value in integer forms. Okay, so for example 1. So we will enabling this pixel 1. We will enabling this 2.2. Enabling this 2, 3 by 3, and then from that we are drawing line from that pixel. Okay, line from that pixels. Okay, did you got that? So that's why we need to round it off. और ये question पूछते हैं हमेशा. This question will be asked, why need to round it off the in DD algorithm. Okay, in DD algorithm why need to round off? Okay, तो round it off का reason यही है कि in graphics we are not deals with the fractional part. Okay, that's why the DDA is specially DDA algorithm will be rounded off. We have another algorithm we will see in a couple of days, that is Bresenum line drawing algorithm. That part we do not have any rounded off. Okay, सबसे पहले तो ये चीज बहुत जरूरी है कि क्यों राउंडेड ऑफ किया हमने. Okay, हमने means algorithm what they suggested. So whatever the first algorithm they have invented, that is DDA, and also after completing this DDA algorithm, why we required this algorithm, ये भी हम उसका आंसर देखेंगे. Okay, कि why we required algorithm, why not why we have y equal to mx plus c equation directly to solve our problem. Okay, let me write it down properly. y equal to mx plus c, ये भी तो इक्वेशन है ना हमारे पास, तो इससे हम डायरेक्टली प्लॉट कर सकते हैं ना. हमारे पास स्लोप भी है, हमारे पास एक्स वाई इंटरसेक्शन भी है. जस्ट वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स 1 2 3 4 5 देते जाओ और करस्पॉन्डिंग वाई वैल्यू फाइंड इट करते जाओ. ओके, एंड सो ऑन यू डू दैट स्टफ. Isn't it, किसी के मन में ख्याल नहीं आया कि this is also the equation of line ready-made available to us. Why the hell that algorithm is came into picture? Isn't it or not? This is a very interesting things. Okay, but I will came to that example answer to this question कि ये equation हम क्यों नहीं यूज कर सकते. ओके, इसका थोड़ा टेक्निकली है, मैं बाद में बताऊंगा, लेकिन हमारा एल्गोरिथम छूट रहा है. ओके, वी केम टू एंड समबडी फ्रॉम यू प्लीज रिमाइंड मी टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन आफ्टर फिनिशिंग maybe a problem or after finishing some kind of algorithm somewhere. Okay, that is related to some microprocessor and speed over there. Okay, I will come to that point. So we will not use this equation. Let it be here, and we will do. Now हमने round up पे ध्यान दिया है, and then let me revise again. Okay, those who are. So we have DD algorithm. We have different steps here. We have taken some temporary variables, which is of real float type. Okay, right. X increment is also float type because this is going to be definitely going to be having fractional values. We noted down whatever the value of dx will be. Okay, mod value of that will be taken, and that will be treated as step. Here we have initialized x is equal to initial value x start. We have put it. We have put 1 pixel. Okay. Then after that we required to have these repetitive tasks again. So definitely for repetition we require a for loop. Okay, for loop. Yes, for loop to be initialized from I equal to 0, which is goes instead of that, I mean, okay, pseudocode says that I started from 0 to steps -1, एक step पीछे. Okay, and then do the task. Now you observe that this is not a plain C statement, but ये कोई भी बंदा, suppose आर्ट एंड कॉमर्स का भी बंदा अगर बुलाया, चलो इधर आओ एंड प्लीज रीड फॉर मी, ये समझ में आ रहा है क्या आपको? Any person which is not belonging from computer background, it doesn't know, just read out for as in bracket I equal to 0 to step -1, मुझे वहां तक जाना है और हमको ये करना है. Okay, simple, very simple task this is. But what happen if somebody is writing like this way, for I equal to 0, I less than equal to something less than step. Okay, less than step or less than equal to step -1, I plus. This statement definitely going to confuse them. Okay, because this is the C statement. Okay, so always you write it down algorithm in the form of pseudocode in the form of generalized statement as per algorithm researchers says. Now after that you need to find out how next x. So x should be increased by x increment. Okay, let me statement terminator. and y will be, the next y will be previous y plus y increment जो हमने previously निकाला हुआ. Again note it down, x increment and y increment will have fractional part always. Okay, definitely previous जो rounded off आपने किया था, previous जो rounded off किया था उसमें या previous इसमें हमको add करना है and then find it value of next. Okay, now definitely after find it out, the next value अगर हमने find out किया, see here for example suppose 1 2 suppose one pixel we got it, so we are plotting this one. It means different color, blue color. Okay, let plot this pixel. Okay, right after that we need to find it out. After increment x we need to find it out this pixel. Okay, then this pixel, right this way, then this pixel, likewise keep going on. So we need to find it out second pixel. So definitely for that time you also require this statement again, set pixel round x comma round y, and repeat this and for. Repeat the whole statement till the step -1. Okay, step -1 are coming, and don't forget to write end over here. Make it increment end of function DDA. This is very important. Don't forget to end. Function always ends. Okay, आपने शायद PSOP में पढ़ा होगा problem. Okay, function, how to write a function is always start with the function name and always ends with the some end word. Okay, return word or maybe say. So this is the complete normal complete definition or this one. Now इतना समझ में आया आपको? इसमें कुछ doubt है अब तक? So then we will go for different illustration now. Okay. Now let's write it down along with me also. Here some kind of okay, DDA. Fine. Let's say steps of algorithm. Okay, first step, very generalized, accepts two endpoints. Okay, say XA, YA. आप कौन सा भी नॉमेनक्लेचर ले सकते हैं. ओके, हमने लास्ट टाइम XE, YE लिया था, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. XB, YB. सेकंड पॉइंट, ओके, find out थोड़ा मैं zoom in करता हूँ so that my graphics tablet can be utilize that space. Find out horizontal and vertical difference. Horizontal and vertical difference between endpoints. Okay, so here we can say delta x or dx is one and the same thing, xb minus xa. Okay, and over delta y, which is also says that delta y dy yb minus ya. Okay, fine. Then third step, the third step of increment. step of increment is given by greater among magnitude value of what? Just you have seen that dx or dy. So don't get confused. You can use a delta x or a delta y also. Okay, it is one and the same thing. Next, fourth point. Determine the offset. Offset means difference, and all this needed at each step. That is to generate the next point or next pixel loop through this step. Okay, fine. And after that, here very interesting and very confusing part will be starting. Fifth point. Okay, fifth point, and I will take the different color here. Fifth point for algorithm. Let's say A part and B part. Okay, now if dx greater than dy, ये अभी हमने केस देखा हुआ है हमारे इसमें, and xa less than xb. Okay, what it mean that? Let's plot. What it mean that? Okay, let's say this is the line, and here xa ya, and here xb yb. Okay, these are the two endpoints, and observe the projection at here xa ya, and here xb, sorry, here yb, and here ya. Okay, exit. Okay, so what it mean? xa is less than. Okay, and this is the condition. Okay, this is the condition. xa less than xb. So definitely ये point नीचे है, ये point ऊपर है. So in this case we are drawing line from here to here in this direction, isn't it? ये arrow draw करो यहाँ पे, this case, right? नीचे से ऊपर ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं, तो दैट केस में ये ऑलरेडी हमने देखा हुआ है. then x increment will be 1, isn't it? X increment will be 1, and y increment will be depending on the on m value, नीचे से ऊपर, right? Now in the second case, that is B part. Okay, if this case is same, dx greater than dy, same case है. Okay, same case है, ये केस और ये केस सेम है, but here and value here xa greater than xb, यहां पे चेंजेस है. ओके, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? लेट मी प्लॉट दिस डायग्राम. Okay, with the same thing here. Okay, and here is XA, YA, and here XA. Sorry, actually this is not a reference here. This is not a reference here. In this case, uh, mean to say that this is not a XAYA. Okay, XA will be this one, YA will be this one. Okay, and this is treated as XA. This is treated as a XB. Likewise, YB, YA. Okay, got it. So this is XB, YB. Now observe the difference between these two images. Okay, point number one, point number two. मैं इसे P1 कहूंगा, P2 कहूंगा. Okay, P2. But here somebody can be given as this one as a P1, this as a P2. So certainly your line is not drawing from bottom to up. Instead, they are drawing from up to bottom. Okay, up to bottom. So this is the diagram, and this is the arrow to be drawn. If need some different color, which one color is sufficient to you? Visible black or something green. Let's say green. So you are drawing. Okay, you are plotting your line from P1 to P2, and here also you are plotting P1 to P2, but depending upon this value you are going upward. Now suppose this is your start point. Okay, मैंने ये ग्रीन में लिखा हुआ है स्टार्ट पॉइंट. अगर यहां से स्टार्ट करना है तो see here, first of all tell me this condition is satisfied. Yes, this condition is satisfied. XA is greater than XB. This condition satisfied here. Okay, and this condition is also satisfied here. Point swap कर दिए. ओके, मैंने पहले बताया था मैं इसमें आपको थोड़ा कंफ्यूज करूंगा, पर कंफ्यूज करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. कोई भी बंदा, फॉर एग्जांपल एक्सपर्ट, कैन गिव टू एंड पॉइंट्स. ऐसे अभी जरूरी नहीं है कि उसने P1 ये यही देना है, P1 वो ये भी दे सकता है, and then P2 will be given this coordinate, bottom coordinate, वो भी दे सकता है. And your algorithm must be run for both cases. Okay, and now depending on these, what will be the X increment, dear students? What will be the X increment? X increment will also be okay, 1 by 1 only. But whether it is positive or negative, it should be the negative. Confused? It should be negative. क्यों नेगेटिव करना है? क्योंकि हमें रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में जाना है, रिवर्स. Okay, if you are starting from this point, and you are going from to XB direction, तो अगर ये 5 है, ये 4 है, ये 3 है, ये 2 है और ये 1 है, तो definitely you are starting from 5, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and then 1. So definitely 5 to 4 में जाने के लिए -1 ऐड करना पड़ेगा, -1 ऐड करना पड़ेगा. Yes, in unit increment must be happen -1. A style of speaking. Okay, you observe my style of speaking that -1 to be added. Okay, got it my point. Ultimately आप उसका proper digestion करके ले सकते हैं. Okay, I can also talk the decrement. Okay, but मैं decrement word नहीं यूज करूंगा क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग कंफ्यूज होते हैं इसमें. बहुत सारे लोग कंफ्यूज. I always use word increment. Increment पॉजिटिव वे, इंक्रीमेंट नेगेटिव वे। ओके, सो इंक्रीमेंट बाय -1, -1 क्यों किया हुआ है? क्योंकि हमने पॉइंट P1 से स्टार्ट किया है, P1 से नीचे आना है। तो नीचे आने के लिए हमें हमने हमने हायर नोड से शुरू किया, तो उसको नीचे लाने के लिए नेगेटिव नेगेटिव एक एक माइनस करना पड़ेगा। तो माइनस करने के लिए हमने कहा हुआ है उसको कि इंक्रीमेंट मस्ट बी हैपन -1। You got that? So in this way we have to write it down, x increment, then x increment will be -1 and y increment will be minus of m. Got it? Why -1 minus m? Because if you observe y value is also negating. Y value is also negating, but y value is not negating by 1. y, okay, नीचे आ रहा है ना, y भी a से b तक आ रहा है। ओके, a से b तक आ रहा है, ये यहाँ से देख, यहाँ पे देखो a से b तक आ रहा है, राइट? ओके, a से b तक आ रहा है, तो ये भी नेगेटिव वैल्यू आना चाहिए ना, तो y increment should be negative. So did you got these two steps properly, clearly? Okay, so next अगर ये समझ में आएगा तो next we will go into the sixth step, which tell us about the line is more inclined towards y-axis. Very fast, we have 2 minutes to left. Sixth case, a part. Okay, a part, if now mod of dx is less than, अब तक हम ग्रेटर देन देखते आ रहे थे ऊपर में, अभी लिए लेस देन है फॉर dy, इससे कम, एंड also ya is less than yb. Okay, you try to plot this diagram ya, which is exactly our first diagram, here more inclined towards that. Okay, so here this is xa ya xb yb, okay, and here yb and ya. So we will saying that yb is greater. Okay, yb is greater, yes, yb is greater means ya नीचे है। okay, means ya to yb हमको प्लॉट करना है, नीचे से ऊपर करना है। okay, right? So definitely नीचे से ऊपर करना है तो ya में इंक्रीमेंट कौन सा आएगा? प्लस करना पड़ेगा। okay, so then x increment will be happen with respect to 1 by m. 1 by m क्यों आया हुआ है? हमने प्रीवियस सेशन में देखा हुआ है। okay, the line is more inclined towards the y axis, 1 by m negative x increment, क्योंकि ये more inclined towards y axis है। y increment will be positive of 1 plus 1, and in the b case if the same one, sorry, here dx less than dy and same thing ya greater than yb, मैंने पॉइंट स्वैप कर दिए, okay, now this is now ya and this is yb. okay, this is ya, this is yb. Give me some 1-2 minutes to finish this out. okay, हम एकदम एक्सट्रीम एंड पे हैं। now here मैंने पॉइंट स्वैप कर दिए, this is xb and this is here projection is xa. so observe now ya is greater. okay, ya is greater, तो हमें ऊपर से नीचे से तक प्लॉट करना है। तो हमें ऊपर से नीचे आना है, तो y में कितना इंक्रीमेंट करना पड़ेगा? y increment should be happen with -1. ओके, क्योंकि ऊपर से नीचे आ रहे हैं ना, वैल्यू कम करना है, एंड x इंक्रीमेंट विल बी, ऊपर से नीचे आ रहे हैं तो -1 by m. okay, got it? and here we stop these illustrations. okay, did you got, dear students? okay, ऊपर से नीचे, नीचे से ऊपर, हमको साइन डिफाइन करना है। तो ये बहुत ही सिंपल है कि लाइन ऊपर से नीचे, नीचे से ऊपर आ रही है, तो हमें इंक्रीमेंट कौन से इससे करना है, नेगेटिव से करना है या पॉजिटिव से करना है। ओके,